Gators now have won 34 of the last 46 games against Florida State. They'll return to SEC play Friday at Arkansas. It's 69 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Beulah Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Well, they call it the Sunshine Showdown. There was no sunshine yesterday or last night, but there was a shutout. The Gators got their 6th shutout of the season, which leads the nation, by the way. And Florida beat an upset, number 10 FSU. I say upset. I didn't look at odds. I'm just guessing because FSU is ranked 10th in the country.
Yeah.
But we talked about, Kevin O'Sullivan's teams usually fare well against the Noles. And it was an absolutely terrible weather day as far as the game at ViStar Ballpark. But phenomenal crowd despite that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you expected a huge crowd, right? I mean, with Florida and Florida State going at it, when I went that time, it was 2 years ago, it was great. I mean, it was unbelievable how much energy was in that stadium. Yeah. And even though, look, you get a little, we want the sun, we want, the nicer weather.
Yeah,
especially when you're playing baseball. It should be a nice, warm weather sport. But I'm glad everybody came out. Gators took care of business, 5-0.
I was so impressed with the crowd, honestly. Yeah. I figured people would walk outside once they realized just how windy it was. And then with that light rain, basically, it was more than mist. Mm-hmm. And it was
Duval, man. tough.
And I thought about that about the Jags Colts game when the Colts were here in Jacksonville this year.
That was miserable. That was miserable.
Yeah, that's 4 hours or more, especially if you're tailgating out in the pouring down rain. And it was chilly that day too.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. When you have the opportunity, you can tell that it's the diehard sports fans in this town, and it's moments like that you realize because it is. And I think that especially for Florida State, it's fun that they get the game here. Yeah. And it's not like Tallahassee or Gainesville too far to where you can't go to a game, but to be able to just go down the street and see these two teams play, even if you're not a Florida or Florida State fan, it's kind of fun to just be able to go see college baseball in that sense. But yeah, I think that you get that opportunity. You're probably not going to pay for the tickets and leave because a little rain. You'll be good.
How did the Sandalwood kid, he was pitching for Florida State. Mm-hmm. Did he have a rough outing? How did he end up doing?
No, his outing was actually okay. It was the bullpen. He only gave up one run, and it really was an error that I would say it was assigned to a different player on their team, Williams. But yeah, he did fine. The bullpen, though, did not perform well. And so Florida ended up putting up 4 runs in the 7th inning. Okay,
my friend, we were talking off air. My friend Brett Myers, his son had a nice big play. He was all excited about that. It's cool to see.
He absolutely did. So Florida started the scoring thanks to a triple by Ethan Surowick. So anytime, and that's where the error was. Mm-hmm. But anytime you see a triple live action, and we had great seats, the home plate seats, thanks to the Dozers. And we were literally like 10 feet from the home plate. And so getting to see everything just up close and personal is also super fun. Yeah. But yeah, we saw a triple, and then Cash Strayer had a squeeze bunt, and that's what scored that first run. So it was 1-0 for the longest time until, like I said, the 7th inning. But yeah, Colt had a phenomenal play where he went into left field and then was able to throw a guy out, which is always also cool to see.
Was the triple like a stand-up, or did he have to dive?
He had to dive. Oh, cool. Yeah, it was not a stand-up triple.
Did he go head first?
He honestly, like I said, he probably shouldn't have gotten the triple, but they had the error on.
But was there a play at third, so he had to slide in there?
But it was a play at third, but he made it, and so it was very cool. Yeah,
it's exciting.
It was.
So it's good when you get dirty in a baseball game.
Oh yeah,
that means you've been playing.
And neutral
you
site.
want the clay on the jerseys for sure by the end of that.
Neutral site. That's what's also so cool. I likened it to Florida Georgia, where it's split right down the middle. Same with this. We ended up actually sitting on the Florida State side of the home plate club. There was, the left side was FSU, closer to their dugout. The right side were the Gators. And so I was with, of course, I wasn't with them, but there were a lot of FSU fans around us. Mm-hmm. And that's when it gets more fun, especially once you have the 7th inning. Because the one guy was like, you guys were a basketball school, but you couldn't beat Iowa. And I was like,
you're like, oh no.
Did you beat us in football or men's basketball or so far this year in baseball? And so, I think he was like, I'm going to talk to my friends.
Never mind.
Wrong person to pick on.
I will say, I feel like it's happened the last couple years too, Lauren, when I feel like the Gator seasons have been like, oh, Gators, here they go. They're going to be so good. And then there's like a little lull. And then all of a sudden you have this stretch where you're like, okay, it's still Gator baseball and Kevin O'Sullivan's still a good coach, and there's a reason that he's been here for as long as he has. But I want to say it was 2 seasons ago where they like had to win the final 6 to even get into, and then went deep into
made it to the final 4.
And all of that. And so I feel like that's kind of the story. It almost, and I think I joked about it last year too, of being like, this is Kevin O'Sullivan. Like once the fire's lit a little bit, like you have to win. He's like, all right, let's get it into gear and win some games. And so getting into that final stretch for him, you just kind of see things not, and some of it maybe is the other years it's been maybe injuries, and so you're working through some of those things.
And injuries elsewhere on the team too. Yeah. By the way, the Seminoles also hit Colt Myers to start the scoring in that. Yeah, and then ended up walking a bunch of guys.
I was about to say that was Brett's kid. Yeah,
it wasn't. He wasn't hit.
Dad would have thrown the bat at the pitcher.
That bad, but it did start that inning as far as, and like I said, a bunch of walks, and then Florida ended up scoring the 4 runs. But yeah, Kevin O'Sullivan obviously does a great job against, like I said, FSU, Miami too, but Florida's now won 8 out of the last 9 against the Seminoles. And that is a really good baseball program.
Yeah.
Not just because they're 10th in the country, but history-wise, as we know.
That's domination right there.
But Florida State's always good, and obviously that's a team too that got to Omaha last year. This coming weekend is going to be a little different. Florida has to travel to number 4 Arkansas after, of course, getting swept last weekend by Alabama, whereas FSU gets to play host to Duke, and they're not ranked. So FSU's had 2 really hard weekends.
Ones back,
So at least they get a little bit easier of a weekend. But yeah, pitching-wise, Russell Sandifer is the one who got the start for Florida, and he did phenomenal. And then it went to Luke McNeely, and he also was terrific. And then Jackson Barberry is the one who closed it out. And that kid, I mean, all of them can throw gas, but Barberry was hitting like 100 miles per hour.
Is it rare for a starting pitcher in college baseball to like go a complete game? Is that rare these days? Do they? I
think that in all walks of baseball, it's rare these days. Yeah, because even Kevin O'Sullivan didn't want Jackson Barberry to throw the 56 pitches that he ended up throwing in relief.
So it's a pitch count.
And
that they try to keep them under.
They all like to keep a certain pitch count.
Yeah,
so,
even in majors now, it's frustrating for people sometimes watching it because you'll have a pitcher who's dominating and they're on pitch whatever, let's say high 70s, low 80s, and you start getting the point where they're someone so-and-so's in the bullpen, so we're gonna see him get out soon, just because they don't want them to eclipse a certain number in these games anymore.
Because they're so afraid of Tommy John and everything.
And
everyone's like, Nolan Ryan used to pitch like forever the entirety of games, and it was just like so frustrating sometimes. Like, they wanted you to do that back then.
Yeah, we see very few complete games in today's day and age of baseball. And now, Tom, there's something called the opener, and I feel like the Rays started it several years ago now, but other teams have adopted it, where literally there will be a game where they call it an opener, and it's a pitcher that will only pitch like an inning or 2. And then they'll have the next guy and the next guy and things like that. And so it's not necessarily the best strategy, but it's just what some teams analytically have decided that works best for their pitching staff.
Because wasn't it like you were saying back, like, like if you go into like the World Series, like if your first day pitcher could go the whole game, like you're saving the rest of the guys, but now they're like, no, we're going to use each one of the guys. Is that what you're saying? And then over a course of time, it works out more scientifically.
Well, and I think some of that may link to the amount that Tommy John has gotten. There's more and more Tommy Johns every single year. Like if you look at the numbers of Tommy John in the last 40 years, every single year it's grown. So I think that is part of it. And Daniel Murphy will talk on the drill in depth about why he thinks Tommy John, why it has become so, like, it just become more and more common for that injury to happen. And he thinks it's a multitude of things. But I do think it's a big part of that, is they're trying to save that from happening as much as possible. But I feel like even 5 years ago, the conversation was like, let your pitcher get through 7 innings, and then you don't have to go deep into your bullpen every night. Now it's almost just like, okay, get this many pitches, even if it's in the 4th or 5th, and then you'll get the relievers in there and go to the bullpen. And so that's why you see now baseball, those bullpens are so important. The best teams in baseball usually have the strongest bullpens because they're able to carry their teams through 4 or 5 innings a game sometimes.
I wonder if the QBs in practice have a count.
A pitch count?
Yeah, like how many throws?
I would imagine so.
You want to keep it under during the week. I mean, during the game you can't. It's not like, he threw 40.
Yeah, 38, go sit, Trevor.
Sorry, Trev.
So they're throwing hundreds in practice.
You're on your bench now.
There might be a distance, too. Like, okay, we'll allow 45 of the throws 30 or more yards, but we'll allow hundreds of the throws.
Just scripted that way.
Yeah,
right?
less than 30 yards. That part I don't know. I'm not obviously a quarterback guru, but I'm glad you mentioned that about quarterbacks. Matt Hayes wrote a terrific article on DJ Lagway.
Okay.
It was published today, so if you haven't had time to go read it, check it out in USA Today Sports. But he was in Texas visiting with DJ Lagway, who's now the Baylor quarterback, for a couple of days last week, and the article is fantastic. But I thought this was so cool. Baylor is one of a handful of schools currently using Cognalize. That is the name of the software. It's German, Cognalize. Okay. It is a virtual reality software for quarterbacks. I feel like we've talked about this for like 10 years as far as virtual reality. They were able to use it with Jaden Daniels and improve a ton of his stats. And then also Fernando Mendoza has used it. I'm now wondering why every school in the country, every franchise in the country doesn't use this type of software. But it's really cool. It helps them improve their progressions and decisions by generating team and scheme specific options without the physical wear and tear of a game.
Are they wearing the goggles? Do you know? Is it like
so Matt didn't include a picture of Cognalize, but
it is. I've seen videos of Jaden Daniels using there was something that went viral of him using that. And it's just like the VR goggles, and then you see him kind of like hopping through because obviously you're not getting hit, but it's looking like they're seeing pressures and they're having to diagnose defenses and stuff like that. And so I remember Jaden talking about how much that helped him in those certain aspects of it.
I bet you one day you won't even need the goggles. It'll just be up on a screen.
You watch,
and you'll be, you'll
like,
have to simulate
holograms.
Making the right read.
That's what I've always wondered.
Holograms coming. You'll have nightmares about like holograms coming. No, but like you'll have to make decisions and see what they're doing and what.
Yeah, I've always thought you can at least create that type of stuff for a quarterback to be able to test their processing time, because that's what's so incredibly important, regardless of the height and the ability to throw the ball 50 yards. Right. If you get a guy with really fast processing time, you're going to have a really good quarterback if he's able to make those instant decisions correctly and quickly.
Yeah, right. The interesting part of that, if they get to that, is kids will prepare for that. You know what I mean? Like, and it might be a false positive. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they might just be good at that, but then they get in a real game.
Like playing
video games they're good at.
Versus not being a real NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
But I've just always been thought you've got to be able to tell and maybe then improve. That's what this software is doing. But just at least be able to find out what a quarterback's processing time is before you even get out on the football field. But I thought it was
normally
cool.
It's up on the board. Get up on the board and show us what you know. And we're going to put up a formation and give you a play call, and then we're going to give the defense, and you're going to tell us where you're going with the football.
Yeah.
It's got to be more, comprehensive than that today with software. We should try to find out what it is. That'd be a good guest to have on.
Yeah.
I know we're thinking out loud live here on the radio.
You guys are saying
like seriously, that'd be kind of cool to see what is that software. What does it look like? What's Trevor do?
Let's go to Germany and meet with Cognalize.
There we go.
And then I
put
also
it on the
wonder.
company dime. It'll be great.
I also wonder.
Company jet.
We've talked about Trevor and the lack of situational awareness, not complete lack, but there were moments.
Got better last year.
But you have to wonder, would this software have helped him prior to this past season before Liam Cohen's scheme and things like that? By the way, Matt's article about DJ Lagway, the Cognalize was just a small portion of it. It has way more to do with DJ Lagway, the person, what went wrong at Florida. So I highly recommend people go and read it. But that Cognalize definitely stood out. All right, we'll talk some more football on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Whoa, guys, where's all this hostility coming from?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
It's between me and him. We're partners, friends. We're both.
Together they are the Drill.
Well, I'm loving this friction. You know why? Because that's how you get a fire started.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Spring cleaning is good, but there's something even better. Spring cleaning and spring organizing. This is Lauren Brooks, and I just love our organized closets from Closets by Design. A designer comes over, and that way they help you create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. Make an appointment today to tour their beautiful showroom on Phillips Highway. and you'll get 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
World-renowned chef, humanitarian, and founder of World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres, is coming to the Florida Forum March 31st. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
I was born in Louisiana.
The Legends 90th birthday celebration. Live. Buddy Guy, 90. Saturday, August 22nd, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-7098. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-7098. That's 800-575-7098.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, gang. Prosser here for my friends Chad and Sandy. What are your concerns? What struggles do you anticipate when it comes time to sell your home? What is it that bothers you? What's keeping you from getting max money as quickly as possible? Well, I don't know what those reasons are because I know they're all silly. Because Chad and Sandy have one down-to-the-line guarantee. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. It'll be at a price and a rate that you agree upon beforehand. So if you need to sell now, fast, easy, stress-free, and you need max price, then you need Chad and Sandy. The government's making moves intended to push mortgage rates lower. The last time rates dropped, we saw a selling and buying frenzy. Now's the time to prepare. It's time to call Chad and Sandy. Darcy in San Jose did. I wanted to move to a more walkable, vibrant area. Within 3 days of working with Chad and Sandy's team, I found the perfect home. They do it stress-free with a guarantee. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200. That's chadandsandy.com.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. I am attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. By the way, of course, the sun came out earlier today, just mocking all of us.
I wish I could see it.
Sat in that mist/rain last night, and the winds were whipping. But at least if you're a Gators fan, you walked away with a win. Florida State fans, I'm sorry, you came to the ballpark and went home with a loss. Florida State fans listening right now are like, "You're not sorry."
Yeah, you're not sorry at all.
Okay, I'm trying to be unbiased.
They were all celebrating the Gators losing in the NCAA tournament. So
to Iowa,
to
the 9th seeded Iowa.
Go Huskers. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Go Huskers.
It's the team of the corn against corn up there.
It is. But I told y'all my grandmother was a Nebraska fan, so I already had Nebraska in my blood. I'm 100% cheering for Nebraska at this point in time.
There you go.
All right, some Jaguars football. We've talked about different players who have things to prove, and we kind of more debated on how do you define what is
to prove.
Right. How you define which player needs to prove, and for certain reasons why. But for some of those players, what you want this season to look like for them. And I think you can look at it because if they want to stay a Jaguar, you can look at it if they want a second contract. It depends on that part of things. But we'll start with Brian Thomas Jr. And what I did as far as the receivers, the edges, I went through and looked at the top 20 in the NFL from last season. And I just averaged, y'all know I love good spreadsheet. So I just averaged the top 20 numbers for these position groups. So for Brian Thomas Jr., if he averages what the top 20 averaged, that would be 1,190 yards, which is less than what he had as a rookie. And then the average touchdowns would be 7, which is also less than he had as a rookie. But I think those are fair expectations for BTJ for this season.
I need a little bit more out of him.
Okay.
You know, not a ton more, but I'm thinking more like, 70 catches, over 1,200 and 8 to 9 to 10 even kind of touchdowns.
Sure.
I mean, they spread it around a lot, but I think if they can hit on
I
that
always think
deep,
about that.
yeah. But I think part of that is they miss on the deep one too many times. You know what I mean? We got to hit those. You start hitting those, and it opens up that passing offense even more. So I want to see him get back to that rookie form. I think he needs to. I think the team needs him to. For himself, putting it back together to be that go-to kind of guy. You're still going to go to Jacoby and Parker, and the other guys in crucial situations or whatnot, no question. But just like when Liam got here, what did he say? The offense runs through Brian Thomas Jr. I think we got to get back to that.
Okay.
And see if we can get him into that kind of production that he had his rookie year. He's got the ability. We know it. He's got it. And if they can work on that, that deep throw and he can work on everything and him and Trevor together, that could be a great, great weapon. And we all know what that means when you can throw the ball down the field consistently and make those big gains.
So if he were to average, or if he were to have 1,200 yards with 70 catches, he would average 17.14 yards per reception.
Great.
So that would definitely get him
That's
above JSN. That would be honestly just slightly behind like an Alec Pierce, who led the league last year with 21.3 yards per reception.
Give him more catches, same amount. You know what I mean? He's got to be. I think I
but
hope
that would,
he gets
that would mean he's
level.
a big deep threat. If he's
which is what
17.
you would think is happening. What are the chances of his yards a reception being identical both years? It's 14.7 both years so far in 24 and 25. But yeah, I think for me, and obviously you want to see more than you did this past season. And so to me, I think those numbers come somewhere between what happened in 24 and what happened in 2025. So I think I more so want to see some of the problems more so than a specific number. Some of the problems go away more than a specific number. Like, I don't want to see 10 drops. I don't want to see me feeling like you are scared to catch the ball at moments. I don't want to see some of these timing issues that we consistently saw from start to finish through the season. When we were talking a little bit yesterday about the roster and what the depth chart looks like and stuff like that, multiple people on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures all were like, he was way better with Mac Jones. Why can't he do that with Trevor? And that's, you kind of want to see what they encapsulated him and Mac, because it did feel like this is the start of something where you can have a 13, 14, 1,500 yard receiver. And now I don't know if it feels like that as much, especially the way you talk about being able to spread the ball. And you go back to Tampa, Liam Cohen and Tampa, when they had their offense, you had one guy with 1,000 yards, and you talk about beyond that, it was Mike Evans. Granted, Godwin missed time, but Kate Otten 600, Godwin 570, McMillan 460, and then it was the running backs 390 and 320, and then Sterling Shepard. So they spread it so much that I feel like you can expect that a little more. So it's hard for me to just pinpoint a number and say I need to have him have 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns or whatever. I need to see some of those issues we saw last year and some of the frustrations we saw boiling over at times with them that affected the game in certain ways. Those have to lessen for me. And I think when those lessen, the production comes, because that's what you saw that previous year. I think I would be happy if we're just talking about what you would need to see to be satisfied. For me, I think if he's hitting 1,000 and he has back up to 6, 7, 8 touchdowns, I would be happy with that. I don't think I need to personally see 13 or 1,400 from him and eventually maybe get back up to that. But I think you just need to 707 and 2 is not enough for somebody that you are potentially wanting to. We were talking about paying potential
he'll never get anywhere near that if he doesn't hit those bigger numbers. I didn't watch Tampa with Liam a ton, but the rhetoric was Evans and then Godwin got hurt and he had to adjust. If those guys were healthy, I don't know. Look, he does spread it around. We've seen it here. But we need an alpha. We need an alpha number one, and I hope it's Brian Thomas.
And I think we learned, or should have learned, I guess, through training camp last year, that things were not going, the offense wasn't going to run through Brian Thomas Jr. because we saw the frustrations during training camp, and he and Trevor just never did get on the same page in that time span. And so now this year, I'd love to see he and Trevor celebrating touchdowns during training camp.
Yeah.
That sounds
early on, that connection feeling like it's hitting.
Yeah, that sounds obvious, but because of what we saw last year, I'd like to see that this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, they want to see it too. I think you got to wonder, you go from Mac to Trevor, now you got Trevor for a second year in a row. Maybe that's all better. You know what I mean? Maybe the chemistry is clicking a little bit more. Look, it's up to he knows what he has in Brian Thomas. He knows what he has in Trevor Lawrence. So that Liam Cohen's got to, whatever strategy that is, we got to make sure
Mold
that
that
connection works. We have to make that thing work because it will help everybody else in the different routes and the different route tree.
And I thought, too, last year, seeing Brian Thomas Jr. join Trevor and some of the other guys in the Bahamas, I was like, oh, yeah, their connection, yes, it was with Mac Jones for most of the second half of the season prior. But now that they're spending this off-the-field time together, it's going to be smooth and great. I can't remember if that Bahamas trip was before or after the draft. As far as
it was after. It was. I want to say it was like late June, early July.
So Travis Hunter was there. That's what I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was on the trip or not. Yeah. I just remember it being like late June, early July when we were talking about it.
Lobsters.
It was after OTAs.
Is that the one? No. Were they holding lobsters?
Maybe, sure.
I thought I saw.
I think they were holding or a fish.
I don't. Yeah, that was. Yeah, they were on a boat and they were. Yes.
Okay.
That I don't.
Whatever.
That might
I mean, listen.
lobster.
Those things matter. You want to.
Lobster matters.
But no, I mean, just like that off the field stuff. Like you develop that love off the field too. Then you want to play even harder for your guys.
They're your brothers at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. And you're one way. You figure out who you're gonna kind of gravitate to in the locker room. And then you're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you going on? Let's whatever, grab dinner. What, you know what I mean? And then you hit it off and you get to know each other. And then you're like, I really liked it. I remember when and Bees too, like, Bees from the get-go, you're like, oh, I'm going to like this guy. He's
How can you
great.
not?
I know.
He's great. I remember telling Cheever, like, our second time, total bromance. I'm like, bro, you're going to be my friend for a long time. I could just, you're my you're my kind of guy.
It was Travis Hunter, BTJ, Brenton Strange, Cam Little, De'Ami Brown. That was a posting.
If I were to ask you right now, and obviously this is a way too early prediction of who had the most receiving yards this season, who would you say?
Yeah.
BT, Jacoby, or Parker?
I mean, I'm hoping it's BT.
Yeah.
I am. But
if I was betting money, I'd bet money on Parker Washington.
Yeah, I kind of lean that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Parker should have I'm interested to see how they use Parker now full time, and you also got Jacoby who can play all over the place.
I have an off season with Trevor. I didn't have an off season with Trevor.
So you came in and produced with Trevor right away mid season. Now you have a full off season of Liam's playbook and of being with Trevor, already experienced with Trevor, obviously in this year. So I think how they use everybody is going to be super interesting, and how much they spread the ball. Do you want, when we talk about BT, you want him to be that deep field and just kind of stretch the field out, but you also want to be able to, because the best teams that we've seen hit the Super Bowl are the ones that are really good in that midfield and can get those 8, 9, 10 yards and just move down the field and wear out defenses. So you don't want to take that away and just be like, fine, BT down deep. But it will be interesting because I think you can make an argument for all three of those guys to have to be the leader in receiving yards. Yeah.
Well, Parker had the most catches, right, this year with 58. It seems so low for the highest catcher, but then it spread around. I think BT was next with 40-something.
Yeah.
So, no, it's...
48
And
BT
Brian
had.
missed a couple games, I think 3 games this past season, whereas his rookie season, he played all 17.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be different with him on the outside, too. He won't have to worry about going inside and those really hard, type catches where you're going to get your head taken off. And you don't like that, and it's whatever. Not everybody's built for it. So you use his skills in another way. And that's to keep him outside, which allows and Jacoby, I was just going to say he's such a pro. He's going to get them to. They're already been together, I'm sure, and talking about, hey, we can be. I mean, you think about it, we feel this way here. I know a lot of people probably do, but you stack up those targets, the first string targets for Trevor. They're pretty damn good. They look good on paper. They're tough on the field. And if you can get BT back to that, that style of play you're hoping for, that's going to be whatever the word, which it's not a, so you got triplets, you got quartet, what's the quintet? Quintets? How
Look
about
at you.
that?
Well done.
So
That's
proud.
pretty impressive, LB. Come on. That was pretty good. But
I was
yeah,
like,
you can have,
how
have a
far
nice
can you go with
quintet
this?
of targets.
I don't know after that. That was very well
We'll
done,
stop at
Tom.
5.
That is a fun fact, real quick, too, because you were talking about. So BT had 48 receptions on 91 targets last year, but 48 receptions. Bucky Irving that year before with Liam Cohen, 47 receptions.
Yeah.
One less reception than Brian Thomas Jr. had last year.
Yep.
The running back, the rookie running back.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
And septet, by the way, comes next. Or sextet comes next.
Sextet.
That's right.
How'd you forget that
How
one,
did I
Tommy?
forget? It's one of my favorite words.
I shouldn't have mentioned that.
The tat. The tat. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Look, again, we got to get the screen game was going to be so big. They started and then it kind of went
Well,
away.
Liam said he had to
Yeah, it
pivot. They
wasn't
couldn't get it
working.
done. Yeah.
Well, it's hard when you don't. If you don't run the ball well, the screen
Falls apart.
And if I'm in man, screens are tough because somebody has the back and they give it away every single time. They do the same thing almost every time when they run a screen. You're like, screen, and the linemen do it. You know what I mean? So, but if you catch them in a zone and you've been pounding the ball and they're getting a little discombobulated, that's when that screen can really work.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that, and I don't mean the bubble screen, because a lot of times that bothers me, because that's when a defender can shoot in and make a play, and all it takes is one guy. But it's ballsy to call the running back screen in the red zone, and I like that Liam's not afraid to do that.
So quick, because I just
He's not
found that
afraid of
stat. So Trevor was 45th out of 45 quarterbacks in screen completion percentage last year. It was 14.2% of the time, which was 6th in the league in weeks 1 through 9. And that's when they ranked, it was not very, when it comes to offensively, it just wasn't working. Then Liam switched it and they only were running it 7.4% of the time, which was 26th in the league. And that's when the deep ball went from 24th to 3rd. The average depth of target went from 13th to 4th. And that's when you kind of saw the offense start to click.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw the yards per attempt for Trevor get up there. They were under 7 for a while, and then they became 7.5, 8, 8, 10. He's had one with 10.
Why we thought Liam Cohen should win Coach of the Year, because he got here. It's kind of like how Todd Golden did win SEC Coach of the Year. He got here and he had to readjust midway through the season. Todd Golden had to readjust midway through the season. By the way, going back to quarterbacks and taking their teammates elsewhere, vacation style. As far as Matt Hayes' article about DJ Lagway. So DJ ended up not going to class. He was mobbed kind of because he was so famous. But his very first class, and he ended up taking only online classes for the next, literally every single class for his 2 years there. He took online.
At Florida.
Florida.
Okay.
And then he was obviously very separated from his other teammates and things like that. So when he got to Baylor, he was like, you know what? I want to reset and I want to connect with my teammates. And of course, he got paid a lot of NIL money at Florida. He ended up taking 12 teammates to Miami, near South Beach, but not South Beach, and paying for the house, paying for massages and recovery and all that stuff. So private chef, all that stuff. Basically what you just had.
In DJ Lagway did that.
And I didn't have to work out.
21 or however. How old is he? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think 20.
21. Okay.
Yeah. So just interesting how, and hopefully Trevor does pay for his teammates. Although Diami got a nice fat contract for 1 year here, so maybe he also chipped in.
Helped a
we
little
shall
bit.
see. All right, we'll keep the Jaguars football conversation going. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
This is Dr. Hiram Carrasquillo, orthopedic surgeon, fellowship training foot and ankle conditions from the orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville. Achilles tendon injuries are common in athletes, but most can be prevented. Warm up properly, stretch your calves, build strength gradually, and wear supportive shoes. Listen to your body. Don't push through pain. Protect your Achilles so you can stay in the game. For more tips, visit osjax.com.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tofoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Tell me if this is you, because it's definitely me. I go to bed thinking, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up early, jump in that ice bath I just bought, have a good breakfast, go for a morning walk, and order a veggie for my side instead of fries. Then the morning arrives. I press snooze, skip everything else I planned because I'll do it tomorrow. But that's the Awaken 180 difference. Tomorrow is today. It's so easy. You want to do it. Your coach will be there to help you do it. You won't want to let her down. Accountability, ease, feeling great. That's the Awaken 180 difference. Now you can download an app, Google a weight loss plan, or buy the latest gadget. But who actually helps you follow through when you couldn't do it before? I lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, and it was easy. No meds. I couldn't lose 5 pounds in a month on my own. Awaken 180 works, and it continues to work because it's set up to not let you fail. Succeed like we did at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey there, ET here with 1010XL. And here's a little how to be cool secret. Don't need to wait for an anniversary or a birthday. I just simply dial up Kuhn Flowers and send someone something special for absolutely no reason. It's really fun. And I can do it online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
The saying goes, Viva Las Vegas. Well, Super Bowl 2028. Well, the Super Bowl that will be February 2028, aka the 2027 season. It is most likely going to be in Las Vegas. So, Jags fans, if the Jaguars are in the Super Bowl in 2028, like I said, February 2028, that'll be not this season, but next season, you'll be heading to Vegas.
We'll see you at the Circa Resort and Casino.
Book your Circa Resort and Casino rooms right now.
Yeah, what a great venue that'll be. Vegas, perfect. I still like the warm weather. I think it. I saw where Minnesota wants one. I'm like, Minnesota. Who wants to go to Minnesota in the wintertime?
Yeah.
Even for the Super Bowl.
I like winter, but I'm a weirdo.
Yeah,
if the Jags had beaten the Patriots in 2017 in the AFC Championship game, that's where the Super Bowl was in Minnesota.
I remember because they had to play, it was obviously at Pittsburgh and it was freezing, and then it was at New England and it was freezing, and then the Super Bowl was going to be in Minnesota. And I remember being like, wow.
Indoors for the Super Bowl itself.
Yeah.
But
But tailgating's not.
We went to the Atlanta Super Bowl. Was that 99 after the 90? And they weren't ready for the winter, and it got like snow and ice, and man, it was just trying to get around was crazy. I'm sure they're more prepared for it today.
Yeah. I'm sure Minnesota will be prepared for the winter.
And
their winter starts in September.
I don't know. I always feel like it should be a warm weather, reward, playing it. And you're going to get rain from time to time, no doubt, but
I feel like
typically
Hawaii,
it's good weather.
former side of the Pro Bowl would be phenomenal, except it's too difficult to get to, very expensive. And I don't know if they have the infrastructure for an actual Super Bowl, but ideally, they're the British Virgin Islands. Like, give a vacation.
There you go. St. Thomas.
Just take the catamaran down and enjoy yourselves. All right, back to Jaguars and what we expect from certain players this upcoming season. Let's go to Travon Walker, who obviously we've discussed could potentially get a contract here in the near future from the Jaguars, but also some people feel like he doesn't necessarily deserve it. He did have back-to-back seasons with over 10 sacks. However, he didn't have that many sacks this past year because of the injuries, what we would at least attribute that to. So what does Travon Walker's season need to look like for you, Taylor Dahl?
Yeah, definitely more. And I think we talk about that injury a lot, but then you go through and you talk about players who only played 7 games total and still have more sacks. So I think the sack production definitely has to get up. And that's at the Jags as a whole. I mean, we've talked about that a ton, about just, we see the pressures and cool, you want to be able to pressure the quarterback and kind of wreak havoc back there at times, but you need to get the sacks, and you're already paying one edge rusher like a top sack getter. And so you are probably leaning towards starting to get, not saying Travon's going to get obviously like Aiden Hutchinson money, because we've seen Aiden Hutchinson do from start to throughout his career, even with injured, was still able to get more sacks than this double. So I think that you want that production up. And I don't know if you had that 10 sack and 10 and a half, those back-to-back seasons. And I feel like that's the range that at least you feel like you should get out of him. And so to me, I will go out and say if he doesn't have 10 this year, then I would be disappointed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's got to at least get back to that number, and I'd like it a little bit higher, but we'll take that. If we can get – look, he's good in every other aspect of his game. There's no question. He's a hard guy to block. He's he's got all the tools. I'd like to see him more inside and just on those passing downs and let him work some guards. I think they'd have a tough time with him, but I'm with Taylor, like a lot more production, but back to what you were doing the past couple of years where we can count on you for 10 sacks. If we get 10 out of you, maybe we get 15 out of Josh Hines-Allen.
Yeah.
Maybe we get 8 out of another guy inside or what have you. But he's got to get back to that.
So I told you I looked at the top 20 of each of these position groups, and for edge rushers, obviously Myles Garrett at the top with the 23 sacks and setting the NFL record. But if you take the top 20 average, it would be 12. 12 sacks would be the average of the top 20.
And that's what you would love.
Yeah. And then 15 tackles for loss to go with that. What's so fascinating to me is we've talked in the past about when the Jaguars...
was 8, by the way.
I'm sorry?
He had 8 TFLs
last year.
So we've talked about how in the past when the Jaguars were down, like obviously losing, that's what I mean by down, in games, that's where it's a lot harder to get sacks because of the fact that the winning team is maybe not even going to pass the ball, right? They're going to
deep.
Yeah, or definitely not deep, but they're going to run the ball because they're going to try and bleed the clock and they're going to just try and, keep Jaguars offense off the field.
4 minute you to death.
Exactly. And so this past season, that's what's so odd about the lack of sacks. And again, yes, these guys are paid, obviously, to get that. We can talk about pressures all we want, but you're paid to get the sacks.
Pressure win rate percentage.
Correct. But this team was ahead, and by ahead, I mean like multiple games this season, and by had double-digit wins. So obviously they were winning by double digits, leading by double digits throughout this season. So why weren't they able to sack the quarterbacks of some of those bad teams? Or at least the teams that they were destroying, even if they weren't bad. But, why weren't they able to do that? That's what I can't figure out.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you didn't face a lot of mobile quarterbacks. And so that is sometimes the link for some teams, because when you have the quarterbacks who can evade pressure and are extending plays and stuff like that, you're maybe not getting to them as much in those sack. You'll force them out of the pocket and they'll scramble and get out and run out of bounds. You didn't face a lot of mobile quarterbacks this year. Like going through the schedule, I don't know who even...
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Mahomes, Allen in the playoffs, and then Mahomes. And outside of that, Stroud's not, Darnold's not, Stafford's not, Herbert's not. Who was playing in the Cardinals game? It wasn't Murray, obviously.
Jacoby.
Yep. So maybe that. Ward was... But it's just like you go through that list and it's like you weren't even dealing with that either, to where you can say, okay, well, they were scrambling around and just running out of bounds. You just weren't getting to the quarterback.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, as we all know, like, it can't just be one guy. And it felt like it was always seemed to be one guy. So if my end, beats his guy or, forces that quarterback up, but I get no push, I may have pressured him, but I didn't nobody else is helping me get, and maybe I don't get the sack
to finish it,
or maybe someone else gets right. There's nobody there to finish the play, and that's what it felt like. You know, it was like Josh would get in there, but then nobody else was getting anywhere close, and there was enough room to maneuver and get the ball off, or get out and take off and run, or maybe Josh would get him or hit him, you know, but the ball was already out. That type of thing. So I think, look, you mentioned Seattle yesterday. Look how it's spread out. You got 7, 7, 8 as far as sacks. So we need more of that. Right. I tallied them up after the year. I mean, Josh was way ahead of everybody else in pressures, hits, hurries, all of it. And the other guys they didn't do enough. So I think it's got to be more collective is what I'm getting at. And if we get more collectiveness in it, that's the word, collectiveness, they'll have more sacks.
Collective soul.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we talk about as we're in March Madness and talking about like rebounds and getting those second chances. That's what it reminds me of in the sack world. Like you have somebody who's getting that quarterback to leave the pocket. You need the other guy to be there and finish it. And sometimes the same guy does it. Obviously, Myles Garrett's one of the ones that will do all of it in one, but you also that Browns defense has a lot of other guys that were coming out and getting some sacks and pressuring the quarterback too.
So think about this, if you can envision it. The end comes around, the quarterback moves up, and nobody does anything else. He's got time to get rid of the ball and whatnot. As the end comes around, if you got pressure inside, he's going here, and then he comes back out, and that guy who made the initial pressure, he's getting the sack because the other guys said, no, you're not coming this way. I'm here. I'm beating my guy. You got to go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that it worked. My point is it works in that kind of tandem for you to be a really good pass rushing football team.
Or you may need to blitz more if you're not getting home with the guys that you have. And we talked about that a lot too. And Coach Camp's
tried.
team. We wanted to see,
That's the thing too. Like you can call it, but if they pick it up, it's not the coach's fault. I mean, you got to win the one. If the back comes up to block me and I'm the blitzing backer, my job is to beat him. By the way, you know who beat the back a lot? It's no longer here, Travon Lloyd. But he did. He was really good at getting around that back and getting to the QB. But, I mean, that's when it's got to be really frustrating. Now, here's a nice little caveat we have, a little pearl in the clam, if you will, is Travis Hunter. If he comes back and he's that shutdown, really get the guy off timing. Now that quarterback's got a double pump. That tap, by the way, you never want to tap.
Right.
A tap means nobody's open and you don't know what to do with the ball yet. You don't want that tap. The minute they tap it, you got that extra second to get to him, and that could maybe bring more sacks as well.
Well, that's a perfect segue because we'll talk about Travis Hunter next. But first, we've got a family 4-pack to Sporting Jacks to go see the women play against Spokane Zephyr at UNF's Hodges Stadium this Saturday night, kicking off at 7:30. If you want to go, be caller number 2 at 641-1010. Call number 2, 641-1010. We'll chat Travis Hunter next. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Here's another classic Florida Gator moment.
The winner of this year's Heisman Trophy is Tim Tebow.
I'd like to thank my teammates. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, and I'm accepting this trophy on behalf of them.
1010XL, home of the Florida Gators.
Top Dog Tavern is your gathering place for family and friends, offering something for everyone. Want a delicious meal served with a smile? We have you covered. Shareable appetizers, hot and crispy wings, juicy tavern burgers, fresh salads, plus a large craft beer selection. And there is nowhere better to watch all the big games than on our multiple TVs. Enjoy great food, cold drinks, and good times at Top Dog Tavern, located in Bartram Park off Old St. Augustine Road.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Best Bet poker fans, the stakes are high this month as Best Bet dishes out over $700,000 between Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine's poker rooms. Feeling lucky? How about daily high hands, weekend winnings every Friday and Saturday, and go for the green on St. Patrick's Day, where a royal flush in clubs wins up to $5,000. See all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Picking here. Oh, boy, you know I love a good flash sale, and we got one right now from Zero Res. This week only, 15% off all cleaning. It's International Cleaning Week, baby. Carpet, air ducts, tile, grout, upholstery, hardwood, area rugs, and more. Be the household hero and book now. Call 287-5727. Flash sale this week only for 15% off all cleaning from Zero Res. Tell Dan sent you. Zero Res, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we cruise through a Wednesday afternoon. We'll get to Travis Hunter in a second, but first, Tom McManus has something to say.
Now, Tommy's Takes, protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my takeaway for today on this beautiful Wednesday is a shout out to Levante David, who has retired from the National Football League, a 12-time captain. Like, that says so much about Levante David and what his teammates thought about him. Like that, Pro Bowls, All-Pro, all the accolades. To be a captain 12 times, that's like, you're doing it right, man. You're doing it right. What a heck of a player. Had a great, great career. And he's walking away at the age of 36 after 14 seasons as a linebacker. And one of the top linebackers in the game for a long time.
And all with one team. Like, good
all
for
with
him.
one team,
I love
right?
that.
So if I'm him, I'm staying in Tampa for the rest of my post-career life. No doubt about that. But congratulations to Levante David and anybody else out there that has had a stellar career. You should give yourself a pat on the back. That's my takeaway today. Brought to you by our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
I wondered the percentage of NFL players that end up staying in the town where they end up playing the majority, right? So is it Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville? We always talk about how a ton of former Jaguars end up staying in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Or even if you end up playing for a different team like a Josh Scobie, but you come back to Jacksonville. And I know some people don't move their families even to go play, especially if it's the end of their career.
Right.
Yeah, but how many end up, or the percentage of ones, like which franchise has the highest percentage? Yeah, is it Green Bay? Is it San Francisco. I would imagine it's not Cleveland.
Nobody's staying in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was just saying Green Bay. Jeez, give me chills.
Is it Chicago?
Up my side of my neck. No, I'm not living in Green Bay. But yeah, look, I think you either
Some people
stay
love
in your
the small town Wisconsin, y'all.
That's right. That's right. I know for us, it's got to be near 90 to 100 guys over the course of the whole, 30 years or now 31. But I think you either go back to your college town. You go back to where they know you. You either go back to your hometown where they know you.
Sure.
You go back to your college town where they know you. You go back to, you stay in the city that you played the most of your career and you made the most impact in the community, right?
Like Baselli's from Colorado. Obviously, that's a gorgeous place to live.
Yeah, but come on, Tony, first pick of all time. Like, where else should he be? You know what I mean? He should be here. That's where he belongs, and he's obviously done a great job with all of that. But yeah, you go, I think, where the most opportunity and where your family can be happy. You know, hey babe, we're living in Green Bay. My wife would probably stab me in the middle of the night. Like, no, we're not. No, go to the hospital, get stitched up, and we're leaving in the morning, going to the beach.
Yeah, I just wonder. Yeah, you've got Baltimore, like some big cities, obviously too, and Charlotte, in North Carolina.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you know, if I didn't live here, I'd probably live in Boston. You know what I mean? Just because of being a BC Hall of Famer, being an alumni, you know, the access to the Alumni Association's massive. You know, I'd probably move up in the Northeast. You know, I wouldn't want to because I like Jacksonville. I like the beach. But, yeah, you got to go where, you know, you made a name for yourself to a certain degree.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right, Travis Hunter, let's get to him on the other side since we spent too much time chatting about how bad Green Bay is.
Green Bay sucks.
Yeah, Taylor, take us out with it, Taylor.
All right, Travis Hunter talk on the other side in Lawrence Lane. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Play-by-play sports just sounds better on radio. For high school, college, and pro sports play-by-play, turn on 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Every time your team makes a move,
this kid could be the game breaker we're looking for.
1010XL will break it down.
We're professionals. We have a job to do, a season to plan.
Follow the road to the regular season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. Big Chief Tire makes getting new tires easier than ever with the Big Chief credit card. There's no annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations. Even $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything at Big Chief Tire. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and let Big Chief help you get back on the road with confidence.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna
Sneeze?
Ugh.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Ugh. It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing?
Ugh.
Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. The MLB season begins tonight between the New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giants with first pitch at 8:05. The official opening day will take place tomorrow, and all teams will be in action by Friday. Tonight's game between the Yankees and the Giants will be the first baseball game ever broadcasted on Netflix. It's 68 degrees at 3 o'clock time, and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Gall, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. A little outcast for you on this Wednesday afternoon. All right, we want to talk some Travis Hunter, so I'll do it in Lauren's lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
You thought I was going to talk Gators, didn't you? As John Summerall met with media yesterday. But no, I'm going to talk about Travis Hunter. So if you take the top 20 corners in the NFL and you average their interceptions and their passes defensed, you come up with 4 interceptions and 10 passes defensed. I think Travis Hunter needs to have more than 4 interceptions. I'm not even going to talk about him as a wide receiver. I think that's bonus. But I think to be the type of corner that will excite all of Jacksonville for years to come, I think he needs to have right around like 6 interceptions. Kevin Byard led the league this past season with 7. I think he needs to have 6 interceptions this season.
You know, it's interesting because, like, you know, the top corners, they don't go after. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you might not get those. And that's what you want, right? You want him to really just lock down
somebody
that
down
guy
so
or
he's
that
not getting
field
targeted.
And they're not afraid to go to you, but they're just not going to chance it too much because they're worried that you're going to get your hands on the ball. So I would take the 4, but 2 are to the house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think he's very capable, obviously very capable of doing that. But
I like that.
But for
2
me,
pick
I'm
sixes.
really excited to. I mean, if I'm Anthony Campanile, I am like staying up at night thinking of ways to utilize him in my defense to help my defense so much. When you know that guy has got him or that side of the field, like you can get really aggressive. You know, you get that QB to pat the ball because he's covered. You know, because you got a corner that could lock down or lock on just about anybody. That's what I hope he turns into.
And that's what I wish we had kind of gotten to see him as the number one corner last year against some of the receivers that they went up against.
Well, we did see it early against Cincinnati. Remember, I mean, he made some phenomenal plays.
It was not pass interference. He's still mad about that.
But even still, see where he was in position on that play. There was nowhere for that quarterback to go with the ball.
Yeah.
It was either going to be a PI or he's going to miss the throw. He wasn't going to catch. There's no way that was going to be a catch. He was just too right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they showed it a little. I think, look, again, I'm glad they're going to say, hey, well, he's going to play corner. We'll sprinkle him in on offense. Take the pressure off. I don't care, he was going to change the game. I don't care if he changes the game. I care that he's a phenomenal cornerback who's going to help us on offense on occasion. If that changes the game, great. It's fantastic. That's icing on the cake. But I don't care that they traded up to get him. I don't care about that anymore. He's here. He's ours. Let's make sure he's a phenomenal cornerback. And then whatever you do on the other side is fine by me. But I want to see him take that wide receiver out of the game, or at least that side of the field if they're playing zone, and he's got the capability to do it. And if you do that, it just helps your defense so much more.
And Taylor, if the Jaguars had drafted Pat Surtain second overall, or had moved from 5 to 2 to get Pat Surtain,
all day,
people would be happy.
Think,
and that's,
I think everyone would have applauded that.
That's kind of where my mind went right away is what do you see out of Pat Surtain? And a lot of times in games, it's not much because people are scared to throw towards him. I mean, if you go through his game logs, 2-3 targets a game is all people have the nerve to even throw at him. So it is harder, I think, sometimes to stack up those high interception numbers and the crazy amount of, when it comes to passes defended and stuff like that. But if you go back to Pat Surtain this last year, for example, 61 targets. The one thing that I feel like on those targets, quarterbacks are only completing 52% of their passes. So that's what you want to see. Yep. And then there's not a lot of the yards after contact because if they do catch the ball, he's getting them down quick. Yep. Those are the things that you want to see. He only had one interception this year. So to me, I don't know if I'm totally as invested in the interceptions. I don't think I need to see 4 or 5 interceptions for Travis for me to be feel like you have a top corner. I think what you want to do is not hear. You almost don't want to hear him talked about in the game a lot because that means that people are avoiding him. But when you are, it's those pass breakups and you're getting those passes defended and you're having that low 50 to 55 completion percentage and he's getting them down quick once they do catch the ball. I think those things to me stand out a lot more if you have that true lockdown corner. Now there's other ones where maybe in the beginning of the season we see these ones where teams want to test him a little bit because he just missed a half a season. Sure. It's year 2. And so he
hasn't proven that he's a shutdown corner yet.
And you haven't. And so maybe in that first half, and so maybe that's what you want to see is in let's say the first 8 weeks, you do see, 3 interceptions and you're seeing him get targeted a little bit more. And then in the second half, you feel like it's a successful season because all of a sudden people are like, oh, I don't want to throw to Travis Hunter anymore.
And you're right. It could start off that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd want to test him early.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to test him late if he's shown that he can be that kind of corner. And look, I know it's a small sample size, but after what I've seen, he did in that sample size, I think he can be that corner. Again, I admitted, I didn't watch a lot of Colorado football. I watched the highlights. I saw him make all the big plays. But to watch him line up at his size, I mean, he's not small, but he's thin, and he's physical as all get out. I didn't know he had that in him. I thought he was more of a zone read and react type corner. And when you can do that and press, I mean, I would – man, I would go if I could. I'd go press coverage almost every time. I go man. If my corners could play man, play press, I would be in it so much because it just allows you to be real aggressive. Now there's risk. Guy trips, guy's open, it's a touchdown. It's going to be 6 points, but you just count on the fact that, you got. I mean, look, you look at Denver with Surtain. He absolutely helps them lead the league in sacks. There's no doubt. I mean, they're great up front, but having him there too, that helps it so much more.
Who covered Brian Thomas Jr. pretty much the entire game when the Jaguars played the Broncos. Right. Yeah, I think some teams are going to maybe avoid a lockdown corner, and then other teams are going to say, I'm not going to skip throwing the ball to I'm not going to avoid throwing the ball to my number one wide receiver all game long, right? And so that's where, but we all know, if he gets more than 3 interceptions, that's great. But if he becomes that shutdown guy, then yes, then you are much more excited about what this defense could
Not
be.
a great one-on-one, but it just came into my mind. When we played Minnesota and Campbell shut down Jefferson. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He only had like 3 catches, maybe.
Yeah.
And Sam threw a bunch of picks, right? When Sam Darnold,
like,
the QB.
yeah, 5, maybe 4.
Yeah, he threw a ton of picks. So if we could get that, you're like, that's taking care of one of the best. Now it's different plan. I'm just saying, though, and a different QB and all that stuff. So that you got to factor that in. But,
sure.
If we can get that out of Travis Hunter week after week after week, you know what I mean? Now you're talking.
The Vikings still won that game, as y'all know. He threw 3 interceptions, Darnold did.
Okay.
But they won that game 12-7. I remember leaving the press box and being like,
that was awful.
This was miserable.
Yeah.
100%. Jordan Jefferson had 5 catches for 48 yards, no touchdowns in that game.
That's taking care of business right there, man. If we can get that or even better out of Travis. And look, he's so fast and quick, he'll get his hands on the ball. There'll be a tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see him blitz off the corner, too. Are you kidding me? If you don't account for him, he's going to be in your grill in like half a second, because of his speed. So could be very interesting from that corner position with Travis.
For sure. By the way, we have an NFL schedule update.
I was just looking at that. It's crazy.
So you're going to have to clear your calendars for Wednesday, September 9th. Wednesday, the first game will be at 8:20 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. That will be the Seahawks against to be determined. And then Thursday, September 10th, will be the 49ers versus the Rams in Melbourne, Australia, kicking off at 8:35 Eastern. But basically, for the rest of your months from
we talked about envy yesterday. We'll
Yeah.
talk about greed today. It's all about that money, making more and more.
seriously.
Wednesday night. I mean,
There's going to be a lot of confused wives when the men are sitting down on Wednesday night.
Like we go to
It'll
church
be
on
Wednesday,
Wednesdays.
Thursday. Obviously, we'll have college football at that point on Saturday, then Sunday and Monday. So,
and high school
sorry,
football on
ladies.
Friday.
Once that September 9th hits,
they haven't
say
called
goodbye.
the NFL a monopoly yet, I guess. Huh? Jeez, they're
correct.
doing it.
By the way, since I didn't do Lauren's Lane on Florida, I did want to at least mention that Scott Strickland spoke yesterday about wanting to keep Todd Golden. One of his exact quotes, "We're going to do everything in our power to make sure he always knows that he's really valuable. When we have talented, successful coaches, we're going to do everything we can to make sure they know they are appreciated here at the University of Florida." So he's like the 5th highest paid coach in the country right now. North Carolina, of course, fired Hubert Davis yesterday.
Yeah.
Gator fans didn't love seeing that. They were hoping the Tar Heels would keep him. But at least according to what Scott Strickland is saying, it seems like they're certainly going to give him maybe another extension, his 3rd new contract.
I'm sure they might have to.
Yeah,
But
he's a
I
good
saw
coach.
yesterday
He's a real
because
good
one of the betting odds favorites
Billy
right now is
Donovan.
Billy Donovan. And so I
No, you
jokingly
cannot.
tweeted,
You
come on
cannot
down,
have
Todd
Todd
Golden. Come to Chicago if you want to coach the Bulls.
No, ma'am.
Immediately
and,
someone commented on my tweet about that, and they were like, too soon, Taylor.
just because it was a terrible end game playing and coaching situation against Iowa does not mean you can have him. And then also Ryan O'Halloran went to Florida practice yesterday, football practice.
Okay.
And he said that he talked to Tramell Jones Jr., who of course used to play at Mandarin. He's now competing for that starting job as far as the quarterback goes. And he said that staying at Florida was a no-brainer for him. So I wanted to applaud him for saying that and obviously meaning that too, because once John Summerall took the job, you knew right away that he was going to bring in, we all heard he was going to bring in Aaron Philo, who had that relationship with Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech. Even though Philo was the backup, still they obviously worked closely together, he and Faulkner, the new OC. So good news that Tramell Jones Jr. didn't bat an eye, said, I'm going to compete for this job. And we talked, and I told y'all on air, Jacob Simons, our videographer and photographer, was at Florida practice a couple weeks ago and said Tramell Jones Jr.'s throwing motion just looks so nice. And you can see it in all the videos too. Nothing against Philo, who knows the offense, but Tramell certainly looks like he deserves to be a starting quarterback in the SEC.
He's got the upside every coach dreams
Absolutely.
about. We're gonna make sure. And it might take a little bit, or maybe he'll be ready going into this season. But you got enough talent there to groom a young man into a really good QB. And we all know how important that position is in college. I mean, we know in pro, but in college, man, you got to hit on the QB. They're in big trouble.
Yeah, good for him. You don't see a lot of guys stick around when they have true competition anymore, especially when somebody's being brought in that is familiar with that system and that offensive coordinator and all of those things. That's usually when you'll see the guy scram right away now in college football. And you don't have that second. But previous years, you would have been like, well, maybe he's sticking around to see how camp looks, and then he hit the portal. You can't do that this year. So granted, he's young. He's heading into year 2,
He's
right?
redshirt sophomore.
Okay, that's what I thought. And so you still have time that you may feel like even with this, you'd be able to earn a job, if not this season, the next season. But good for him because you don't see that often
Go
in
compete.
college football. Yeah.
It's good. He's got a chance to win the job. You know, that's what's great about a new coach. Like, it's clean slate. Show me what you got, and then we'll start deciding whether you're going to make it or not.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a great thing.
It's going to be fun to follow that as far as the spring and then going to the Orange and Blue game, which I cannot believe April 11th
It's
is
right
almost
here.
here.
Yeah.
No, it's not this weekend, but next week, or it's in 3 weekends.
Yeah.
But still, it's almost here because we've got this weekend, Easter weekend, and then the Orange and Blue game is upon us. Time is flying, that's for sure. All right, we have one more to Jaguar to talk about. We will do that on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Number 1 for sports in the 904. 1010XL.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision, so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hi, this is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine. If you are a young athlete or a weekend warrior, I treat you with the care and expertise that is needed to diagnose and treat your injury. Come see me at Bari Orthopedics to get the care that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Bari and the entire staff at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. And follow Doc on Instagram at Dr.GeorgeBari.
The new Ackerman Cancer Center is now open at World Golf Village, providing state-of-the-art screenings and diagnostic exams with no referral required. Same-day appointments are available. Call today or visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. Triumph did a really cool thing last year, Greg. They went off-road. What's happening with Triumph?
Well, not only did they go off-road, they threw all the chips on the table. Ricky Carmichael personally developed this motorcycle for them. So if you haven't seen the Ricky Carmichael 450, you need to come see it. Also just released some Enduros this year. They've got a full lineup. You're going to love them.
Talking Triumph, the latest off-road. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. Check out cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Tell me if this is you, because it's definitely me. I go to bed thinking, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up early, jump in that ice bath I just bought, have a good breakfast, go for a morning walk, and order a veggie for my side instead of fries. Then the morning arrives. I press snooze, skip everything else I planned because I'll do it tomorrow. But that's the Awaken 180 difference. Tomorrow is today. It's so easy. You want to do it. Your coach will be there to help you do it. You won't want to let her down. Accountability, ease, feeling great. That's the Awaken 180 difference. Now you can download an app, Google a weight loss plan, or buy the latest gadget. But who actually helps you follow through when you couldn't do it before? I lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, and it was easy. No meds. I couldn't lose 5 pounds in a month on my own. Awaken 180 works, and it continues to work because it's set up to not let you fail. Succeed like we did at Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you, talking some Jaguars football today, going through what we need to see from certain Jaguars players in this 2026 season. We've talked about Brian Thomas Jr., we've talked about Travon Walker, Travis Hunter. Now let's wrap this conversation up with Eric Armstead. Unless people on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures 904-641-1010 want to suggest other players they'd like us to discuss, we're always welcoming your feedback. But Eric Armstead is a guy that we have talked a ton about. I think I can summarize it by saying Tom could see a world where he's not on the team in 2026. I cannot see a world at this point in time that he's not on the team in 2026. Obviously, in your scenario, there would be some draft picks added, maybe a straight free agent. But going through the top 20 as far as the defensive tackles and how many sacks they got this past season, the top 20, Eric was in the top 20 as far as defensive tackles. But the average was right around 6 because, of course, you had a guy like Jeffrey Simmons with 11 up that. And then, Taylor, as far as Eric Armstead, I think you're more in line with me as far as the depth maybe isn't there as far as the Jaguars defensive tackles being able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that, and I could see both worlds, but I think for me, obviously, it depends what happens in the draft.
Yeah.
I think that the interior defensive line is something that I think needs to continue to improve, obviously. I think for Eric, number one, you want to see a healthy season. I think that's part of it for me, and you can't predict that. You can't always say, oh, well, if this person doesn't play X amount of games, then they're not doing their job. But it's kind of been a thing for Eric Armstead the last 5 years of not being able to. And granted, the year before he did play in every game, but he was only used on the outside every now and then. So he didn't have he didn't have a ton of snaps. So he technically only started in one game in 2024, but he missed a significant amount in 2022. He missed 6 games in 2023. Obviously, last year missed games too and was banged up towards the end.
That's why the 49ers moved on, I would say, is because of all the injuries.
And that is something you have to, that's part of it. Like, you have to be able to rely on the person, on these players to be on the field. And he's heading into year 12, so you kind of expect that, not saying you expect people to be injured, but you expect those probably snap counts to not be as high when you're in year 12 and 13. And that's why, for me, I feel like I would like to see somebody else starting on the defensive line. And we kind of went back and forth about this, Tommy, yesterday, of you don't want to pay him $17 million to be a rotational piece. I personally don't care. I feel like if you're getting 6 or 7 sacks interior from him rotationally, and then you have a guy that's starting up there that's getting 6, 7, 8 sacks, I don't really care what you're paying, especially because you'd have a rookie deal on the other guy. And I just want to get those like consistent interior pressures. It's just been, I feel like we've been having the same conversation now for 3, 4, 5 years of how do you fix this interior line? How do you help Josh Hines-Allen, and how do you help those edge rushers get, and also the linebackers. We talk so much about that, what the interior, those top interior defensive lines, they make the linebackers' job so easy too. And that's something we saw in Seattle. And that's a big part of why Seattle got to the Super Bowl, is what they were able to do on that defensive front, and then how much those guys helped their linebackers, and then vice versa. It's hard I get it when people are like, that's a lot of money to pay a guy that's not playing, X amount of snaps. But I still think we're seeing rotational guys play 40, 50% of snaps. And for me, if you're playing 50% of snaps and you get 6 or 7 sacks at the end of the season, I'm fine with that. But if you're starting, I think you want to see a little bit more out of Eric Armstead, and he's really good. He's good against the run. We saw that this last year. So those factors I think are going to be big into this. And so to me, I don't know. I think you played well. You just need to now do that without getting hurt and without leaving the field, because the moment you left the field, things start to fall apart, and we didn't have a backup plan. Now, if you have a backup plan, maybe that changes a little bit and you're not having those conversations. But to your point, Tommy, of paying $17 million for a rotational, you also don't want to pay $17 million for 8 games either, if it's someone who can't stay on the field. And he hasn't, like I said, in about 5 years, hasn't been able to.
Yeah. So if he's here, and, again, it depends if they grab anybody in the draft for me, and it's hard to make. I think it's hard to make him rotational when he's so good against the run. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, because, you want more production in the pass, or the pass rush, but he's really good against the run. And unless they get a rookie, or Mason Smith somehow turns, you know what I mean? Because, and you're right about the linebackers. Not only with Seattle, I mean, we all know they led the league in yards per carry at 3.7 on defense. That's like shutting it down. And linebackers alone they can't do it. If our D line doesn't take care of the O line, we have to defeat these like grizzly bears. It's like really hard to take on a lineman play after play after play when he comes off free. Square, you got to hit him up square. I mean, you're not going to win those battles over the course of the game. That's why D tackles grab them, hit them, get them out of the way, get them off their pass, so turn them around so you can maneuver your way to the running back. You don't even have to sometimes hit those linemen when you got a really good. I mean, Ray Lewis made a Hall of Fame career out of it. I mean, Sarah Goose and Sam Adams, you kidding me? Like, I don't think he had to take on a block for a long time, but he was great instinctively to make the hits and all that. Yeah. So let's just say Eric is here. And I still think, I just think it's odd they haven't done it. They're like, there's been no mention of, post one. There's been no restructure, or June 1, sorry. No restructure, which we understand. So I still think it's a little odd, that nothing has come out, from them. So let's just assume he is here, okay? So I want the Eric Armstead that can give me, an 8-sack performance. If that's playing 60% and the other guy plays 40, whatever. Yeah. I don't really care, because I was just going to ask you, like, he had 5.5 sacks last year. If that was from a rotational standpoint, he's not in there all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
then you'd be fine.
That's what we thought we were going to get out of Agba.
Yeah.
But Agba's $5 million a year, and he's 17. So again, they may not care about the money.
Yeah.
They may have already. It's in the cap. It's eaten up. We're going to pay him, and we're just going to hope for the best Eric Armstead that we can get. The problem again with making him rotational is he's so good against the run, and if you're going to take that out, you better have somebody that you put in there that it's just as good as him against the run. So maybe they do. Yeah. Maybe they find somebody, or maybe, Mason becomes that. But if Eric's here, I am praying, and he can stay healthy, and that he can have a monster year. And monster doesn't mean 10, 11 like Jeffrey, but it means just you see it from the eye test. He's wreaking havoc in the backfield week after week. He's helping the ends finish. He's finishing sacks. He's helping everybody else finish sacks. They're stopping the run. This, again, last year going in, I thought our front four was going to be absolutely phenomenal. But Mason Smith was number 4, and Eric was on the inside with our 2 outside guys. It didn't work out. Credit to Von Hamilton for winning that job and being a really good player. That helps a ton. But I'll throw him into the mix. I still want him to defend a run like he does. Look, he's got the ability to have a little bit more in the pass. He's got to get that quarterback to thinking about, I'm getting in his face. I'm pushing these guys back, or I'm making a move to get up the field and in that QB's face. Because we got to have not only Devon Hamilton stop the run, but he's got to give us some more. And whether it's sack numbers, it doesn't matter. It's just you got to collapse that pocket. Yeah. When you collapse the pocket, everybody eats. Look at Seattle. Everybody eats. They'll all get sacks. It might not be one guy with 20, but it'll be 4, 5, 6 guys with 8, 7, whatever. Maybe a guy with 10, and everybody would be happy if we had that.
Yeah.
So
I think for this defense, if Eric Armstead's not here, I start to get really concerned about the depth. Like, who's going to start? Obviously, that's the question. Who are they drafting? Yes, let's say you plug in pick 56. If Mason Smith isn't going to develop, who's the backup to then that pick? Who's the guy that, other than Gardeck, who's helping get these sacks right after Josh Heinzel and Travon Walker? Yeah. I start to get nervous.
Okay, and that's valid, right? I would think they signed Dickerson for a reason. They like what he brings to the table, so he may not be that every down, starter, but he can come in and help you. I think they're really high on Strigow, and I want to see, that guy with an off season. He's already big. He's going to get real big. He's going to get wicked strong. He
got hurt in season.
He did. But I think they like him. And I think they feel like B.J. Green II is a natural pass rusher. And he's shown that he's got it feels like a natural bend. He's got the moves. He's just a little undersized. Yeah, but that's okay as long as you're quick. And he seems to be quick enough. So
yeah, he's also versatile too, which they like that.
Right. And what we were saying yesterday or the day before, that's the things we don't know. Maybe they feel like Strigow can play inside. side on passing downs. Maybe Strigow's the end and Travon gets thrown down, into the the 3 technique or over the guard on pass. You know what I mean? Like maybe BJ Green is that situational guy. We don't have to go get one. We have one. We believe that he can be that pass. Maybe he can. Maybe he can. I mean, look, only a rookie last year. You'd think he gets even better in year 2.
And Simmons, who was the best defensive tackle as far as getting sacks, got 11. Eric Armstead got 5.5 with an injury to boot, too.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, that it's not like these defensive tackles are getting 15 sacks.
And now he gets John Franklin Myers to stand next to him.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, and I think that when it comes to to me, if we are talking about OTAs and Eric Armstead isn't here, then I think they address the interior defensive line multiple times in the draft. I think, to me, that's the only circumstance where it totally adds up to be able to do that. And that's quite possible. It's possible that they say, hey, we're going to use 56 and then, one of those 3rd rounders or a 4th rounder on 2 interior defensive linemen. We're going to go young. And then at that point, you can get whatever. You can go get a veteran that's not as expensive as Eric and try and get something out of that, or the post-June cut we talk about. So to me, it feels like that, because I don't know if they're totally confident because of the issues and because of what you saw when Eric wasn't playing last year, the drop-off of what happened with that line. You don't want that to happen again. I do have one quick question from the text line for you guys. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, because somebody wrote in, and we haven't really talked about this much other than we have talked about depth-wise what they do. But someone said, what does our second tight end, whoever that may be, need to contribute next year? Like, does that matter to you at all? When you talk about Brenton Strange, obviously last year, 540 yards, 3 touchdowns. The next closest to that was Johnny Munt with 111, no touchdowns for him. Hunter Long had 85 with 2 touchdowns. Quentin Morris had 55 with a touchdown. So that's a big drop-off from tight end 1 to 2 when it comes to at least receiving production.
Great. That's a great question. First of all, I think Brenton Strange needs way more opportunity with the ball in his hands. That guy's an absolute beast. He is tough to bring down. Most linebackers don't want to hit him. DBs don't want to hit him because he's a big guy and he's a locomotive when he's running. He's got a little bit of wiggle to make guys miss. He's really good with the football. So I'd like to see him get even those 3 touchdowns. Give me 5, give me 6.
Yeah, and I would like 700-800 yards out of him.
Absolutely, and he's got that capability. There's no question. So right now it's Quentin Morris. Look, I would expect him to have the numbers you just ripped off for Strange, maybe 3 touchdowns, something like that. A nice compliment. I think they're going to I think they're going to grab a tight end in the draft, a speedy type guy that can get down that field and hit that seam. But again, I think Quentin Morris is really athletic. I think he can be that type of compliment to Brenton Strange, but Brenton's got to be the focal point. He's our Travis Kelce, man. He's our George Kittle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that kind of guy. He can be that kind of tight end for this football team.
Yeah, I agree with Taylor when you said the other day you think Brenton Strange could be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I think he's on that trajectory. If you look at the Bills, who have 2 really good tight ends, and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Kincaid last season had 571 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns, and Knox 417 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. So it's okay if the production is super similar, because then you're also catching the defense off guard.
Right.
They don't know which tight end to double team.
So we may know this answer, but let's just throw it out there. So who's Kittle's number 2 tight end?
The 49ers
it was
have the guy with the funky last name.
Yeah, because he had played for the Bears before that. That's the only reason I even knew that.
That's right. He actually filled in nicely for him.
Tongus.
There
yeah,
you go.
See that? I knew he had a weird last name.
Yeah. And then when Luke
Kittle
Farrell
got hurt, so you talk about obviously Strange got hurt too. Luke Farrell,
Right, Kittle got hurt. That's what I'm saying. But Kittle's that focal point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Brenton can be that kind of focal point. They got other stars on that offense too, so you can make him a target even more.
We are going to pretty much write Liam Cohen's playbook by the time
Come on,
July
Liam.
rolls
We got a seat
around.
for you right here. We can go over it.
You got that right. All right, the golden moment awaits. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Living life on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me?
Your front row seat for play-by-play.
Break it free, they're not going to catch you.
1010 XL.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com.
Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I Am Beaches Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
We know what to look for. We go right to the source, the connections. But yeah, we go directly to the source.
Dan and John Lupo at Beards Diamonds talking about what it means to be a direct diamond importer.
We do a lot of business out of India. We do a lot of business out of Antwerp, Belgium, Israel, Africa as well. We will do whatever it takes to get the stone that the customer wants at the best price guaranteed.
So every diamond at Beards is hand-picked and brought in with no third-party markups. And so with no commission salespeople and no Wall Street quotas, Beards can price every diamond for less.
If they've been shopping, which we encourage, and then come to us, and they're kind of at first they're like, oh, why is this $5,000 or $7,000 less?
Best value guarantee, best selection guarantee, best experience, bar none, guaranteed. From Jacksonville's locally owned Diamond Powerhouse.
The family, the relaxed atmosphere, and we're there for each other.
It gives us a big advantage being local, and we love Jacksonville. The money stays in Jacksonville, by the way.
Beards Diamonds in St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna.
Sneeze? Yeah, I saw that coming.
It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing? Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Lauren, you may have been right in the sense of you said, I'm surprised. I thought your golden moment was going to be Pete Crow Armstrong. I won't bore people with that, but he did get a contract extension. And so the
nice
Cubs have
one.
him, yes, a lot of money in for 6 years. So locking him in 6 years, 115 is what they locked him in for. Yeah.
All right.
Love
Not quite
PCA.
as much
so
as
super.
JSN, but still really good.
They'll take it.
Yeah, especially because technically he's had like a half a good season, and so he's young still, and so you're kind of paying. We talk about that in the NFL when you're paying for what you expect that player to be, not what you've seen so far, and that's kind of what that is. But we've been talking today about a little bit of the players that have things to prove and what exactly that proving needs to look like for us personally. And we went through, when you talk about a Travis Hunter, we mentioned that today. We were just talking about tight ends a little bit. We were talking about we were Travon Walker, and we were talking about Eric Armstead. And so when you go through some of those players, one note I saw today on Twitter, and so the Jaguars have until May 1st to enact on Anton Harrison's 5th-year option, which will run them about $19.1 million. So somebody on Twitter just asked the question, will the Jags use the 5-year option to extend him? So in part, number one, do you guys think they should or will with that 5th-year option? And number two, does Anton have to do anything, or for you, has Anton done enough to get a future contract here in Jags?
That's a great question.
I say yes, he's done enough, and yes, he gets the 5th-year option.
I think he gets the 5th-year option for sure. You're not gonna let him go. Or I know it doesn't mean he goes right away, but you don't want to even get to that
but
point.
Then you end up with the Devin Lloyd situation, where also Anton has done more to this point than Devin did to
and look, I mean, what did Liam say about Anton in camp?
He wants to go.
If he wants to, he can.
Right. So you want to make sure he's in a good mental. If he's your future, right, which I think he is, you definitely, sign the 5th-year option, make him feel good, make him feel like, all right, I'm doing good. You guys like me. He just needs to put a back-to-back year together, and then you pay him what you got to pay him to keep him. I think, look, he played really well last year. He did. They all had it. Look, it was an attitude adjustment up front. You saw, remember when we'd highlight him finishing blocks, he was driving guys into face into the ground. It was great. I mean, and then it seemed like the whole line had their turn at doing that. That was a big difference than the past couple of years. Not, every player, but as a collective group, they got very finishing blocks. Yeah, like chippy.
Yeah.
Love a chippy offensive line.
That's why some people were sad to see Cam Robinson go, because they felt like he was the
He would fight for the quarterback.
Right. He always had the right temperament.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question about it. But I would, for the 5th year, for long term, I'd want to see another year.
Okay.
Where I'm absolutely like, okay, I'm going to give him that money that it's going to take to keep him here. But in the meantime, I make him feel like, hey, you're our guy. We want you here. We're hoping that you earn that contract. Look, and at the end of the day, they do want him to earn it. Because that means they've developed into the kind of player that they want to pay and keep around and be a part of this team. So I think he's in a great spot. I'd like to see a little more beef on him, but he had a big shirt on. Maybe he's just
he couldn't see the
maybe
muscle.
he's just built that way. Hey, look, whatever. I don't care. Football players come in all types of body types.
Do guys ever want to lose a little bit in the off season and then build it back up right before the season? I've never tried to put on huge amount of muscle. I'm just naturally so muscular.
Okay,
that's a joke.
So look,
I was waiting for you to laugh.
You could take a couple months off from lifting.
Okay.
I mean, you could.
Maybe especially, I know his rookie season, he ended up having an injury throughout that needed to be repaired. And
look, he's got the feet, the hands, and the right temperament. So, the strength is there. You can see him. Well, at least for the 5th year. I mean, I wouldn't give him a long-term deal right now. I'd like to see, at least one more year. But, definitely make sure he feels good at that. Because what is it, $19 million?
Mm-hmm. 19.1.
I mean, he's going to feel real good about that.
Yeah, and that's to keep your quarterback healthy, as we know all too well from 2 prior seasons. Obviously, quarterback Trevor Lawrence was healthy this year, but 2 prior seasons, he went down with several injuries. And some people blamed him for part of it. Some people blame the offensive line for part of it. But to be able to keep your quarterback healthy, you need 2 good bookend tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he got stepped on by Walker Little because Trey Hendrickson pushed him back into him.
Yeah.
And it ended the season, basically. You know what I mean? Now, could he have gotten the ball out quicker? I don't know. You have to go back where he doesn't get stepped on, but got stepped on. It totally ruined the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it killed our quarterback. It killed the season.
Poor Walker got attached to that. He was like, I just stepped back.
He didn't mean it. I was just about to set my anchor, and then it happened to be on his foot.
Like,
tell him not to strike so long
Tell
next
Trevor
time.
to get his foot out from under my foot.
That's why I said, you need 2 good bookend tackles because those defensive ends are going to do whatever it takes to get to the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one thing with Anton that we've seen, and at least this year, so to your point, Tommy, the first couple years, I think that he struggled against the run a lot and run blocking a lot. And you saw that get a lot better this last season when it came to kind of doing some of those things against the run and help secure like the edge a little bit more. But I remember that being one of the rookie season was a lot of the conversation. That next year I remember being like, okay, it got a little better, but probably not the jump you quite wanted to see from Anton. And then this last year I do feel like that it got a ton better, and it's something you were talking about. I remember seeing a graphic at one point during the season of the improvement in run blocking, but also he was like one of the highest tackles, like island rate left on an island, and then still one of the high, like a middle, a little above average when it came to blocking again on an island. So that's what you want to see. And he was with a cluster of guys. I can't remember who they all were, but I remember being like, okay, that's good company of tackles that you'd want him to relate to. But you do want to see that again. You want to see that run blocking take that next step, and then you want to see that kind of continue. So I wouldn't be mad if they gave him that 5th year option, because I do think that when you talk about how Liam worded things, I do think that set a fire under him a little bit, and it showed this last year of like, oh, this isn't just my job to keep anymore. This is a new regime, and I've seen them ship people off very quickly coming in here. And you saw that extra something out of Anton this year, and maybe that's what he needed. We talk about it with Trevor, too. Maybe that's what Trevor needed in the sense of mechanics and being like, you don't get to just do what you've done forever and feel like you're going to be successful in the NFL. It takes extra work. And those guys specifically, you saw Liam Cohen kind of change things when it comes to their mental side of things.
Yeah, and when your coach says that, it means he knows you can. He knows you can do it.
He's
when
not going to call out a guy that's not good
right.
enough.
If he doesn't think you could do it, he's not going to say anything. He's just going to have next
He's gonna
question.
cut you.
Yeah, or give. Yeah, right. But no, I think look, he earned the job in camp for sure. And they tried different people at right tackle. They didn't give him the job. He earned that job.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no question about that. So he should feel very good about his game and his future in the NFL and with the Jags. So yeah, look, pay the 5th year, give him the 5th year, and let's see him grow even further.
Speaking of the Jaguars, President Mark Lamping met with media earlier today and spoke about One Tower Court, the downtown Jacksonville's newest multi-tenant Class A office building. The first one, I should say, constructed since 2007. But the Jaguars business office moved in. We were driving by it, obviously, last night on the way to ViStar Ballpark, and looks unbelievable. And the Four Seasons is close to being done, too, it
isn't that
seems.
great?
Yeah, and the marina
That's
will
so
open
awesome.
sometimes this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get the people who own the private jet that you were on. And y'all just rented it, but whoever owns the private jet, maybe they'll buy a Four Seasons place, and we can go visit.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would love to see it. I saw some of the videos that they posted of the new office. So cool on the inside. It looks fantastic.
75,287 square feet of business operations.
It's nice to build an office building that you can fill with your team. At least to give you that anchor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of just some spec 78,000, hopefully with a couple leases coming in. That's very nice to have that set. But yeah, good to get it out of the stadium. I mean, the stadiums they can't work in there anyway, so it's a great thing, and it's going to look beautiful right on the river, and the Four Seasons is just going to be epic. I mean, that's going to be the start of something really cool here in Jacksonville, in that part of downtown and beyond a little bit.
Yeah, my dad was like, it looks like we're a big city now. I was like, here we go. And there will be restaurants also within the Four Seasons and One Tower Court, too, which is super cool.
Beautiful.
All right, one segment to go. We'll bring you the pest of the day. Today, on the other side, Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itbpartners.com. ITB Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, and creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
Picking here, oh boy, you know I love a good flash sale, and we got one right now from Zero Res. This week only 15% off all cleaning. It's International Cleaning Week, baby. Carpet, air ducts, tile, grout, upholstery, hardwood, area rugs, and more. Be the household hero and book now. Call 287-5727. Flash sale this week only for 15% off all cleaning from Zero Res. Tell Dan sent you. Zero Res, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you talk a lot about a diamond's cut grade. Why is a diamond graded for cut?
Frank, that's simple. We cut grade diamonds to show a measurement of beauty and light return to the person looking at the diamond so they can understand the value difference between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one cut for maximum weight. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you find out that the American Gem Society Laboratory actually assigns performance grades and proportion grades using patented computer software and grades for polish and symmetry using a microscope. The end result of cut grading is a final grade that can go from a 0 or ideal to a 10, which is poor. Each of these grades are priced a little differently. That's why you can see a diamond with a fine color and clarity priced low, particularly on the internet, because a trained gemologist won't buy it for resale because of the poor cut. Unfortunately, these type deals aren't good deals. They're bad deals for the unknowing customer.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, GarageDoor911.com.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Hey, with all Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Time now for the Terminix Pest of the Day, as always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online, Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of all of the pest control issues, which means there aren't any at Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town, as well as at our house. The pest of the day is an easy one. It's the weather from last night.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
I really feel for the people who weren't prepared. I knew that it was obviously going to be yucky, but the weather people didn't really tell us, nor did the apps, that it was going to have that mist/rain.
Yeah.
It was more just that it was going to be windy. So I don't think a lot of people were prepared for the wetness in addition to the chilliness. And those wind gusts up to 32 miles per hour, and then that misting rain. And of course, when you're at a ballpark, you're just staring at the swirls of that mist and rain because you see it in the lights. And we weren't able to track the baseball as well as we normally would have been able to. And you know what? These Tax Layer Gator Bowl people, they work so hard. Our friend Greg McGarity, Katie Cox, they work so hard. And then to have weather like that, the one night that they have the Florida State baseball game is just frustrating.
Yeah, that's March for you, though, right?
I know.
The players, we got lucky this year. A lot of times in March, it's cold and wet. And
especially because that's even earlier March.
Nasty, type weather.
But literally tomorrow, the high is 79, full sun.
Yeah, I think Friday's
like
86.
Yeah. Now, I would have preferred the 79 as far as more
What's
than 86.
the UV scale?
Yeah, I'll be at the Shrimp game Friday, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, opening day.
Yes,
we
super
found
excited.
out they released the roster earlier today, and I did want to tell people, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Taylor, that Crustacean Nation, as of course they call it, is invited on Friday ahead of the baseball game to go down.
It's like the family
on Georgia Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a
and-
little family fan fest before.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
I was talking because today they actually have a press conference or a media day type thing coming up at 4:00. But they have, because if you don't remember, by the way, the Shrimp are reigning champions.
That's right.
They have a
Right.
ring and a
That's
trophy
right.
to show off this year, so that's super fun. I was looking at, because I got my tickets for Friday already, and it looks like there's very few
Oh, I
seats
was-
left
yeah, not
for
surprised.
Friday night. So it may be if not already sold out. So if you do want to get out there for opening night, go ahead and get your tickets there. But when you're talking about weather, Lauren, it reminded me of, so my cousin posted this post earlier, and I just had to read it because it reminded me of, she has a mini U, and so her daughter's name is Lakin. Lakin is we call her Grandma Lakin, because she's very takes care of everybody, always wants to check the weather, and she's only 6 years old. And so my cousin posted this morning, and she was like, she got mad at her mom for speeding. She was like, the sign says 35 and you're going 38. I need you to slow down. And then that conversation said, can you check your weather app for me? It's a little chilly, and I'm wondering if a cold front's coming in. This was Lakin saying this. And then Lindsay was like, it'll warm up this afternoon. It's just early. And then Lakin was like, are you sure? Because it feels like a cold front. And then my cousin Lizzie was like, Lakin, be 6 for a minute, okay? And then she goes, well, me at 12 o'clock realizing my 6-year-old grandma was correct, and there is, in fact, a cold front today.
Coming through for sure. Yeah, it's called the Opening Day Street Carnival, and it'll be at Georgia Street. It begins at 4:00 on Friday, and leads into the game. And then they will have a special ceremony to reveal the AAA National and International League Championship banners.
Let's go.
Which is super cool. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, I'm guessing based off of your voice over the last few days, that's why you probably didn't want to stay during that lovely weather that was during the game last night.
Yeah, that was brutal. I mean, it had to have been. Did it ever let up?
No, it did not.
Yeah,
No.
but what a great win for Florida.
It was so much fun, and obviously you had to stay till the very end. Even though Florida was up 5-0, they started to. I think they even had bases loaded, or at least had runners on the corners there at the end. Florida State did in the night.
So yeah, Sully, man, owns the Knowles and owns the Canes. It's unbelievable. But we'll actually talk a little bit about that coming up on the Frangie Show. Frank watched the game and has some interesting thoughts about it. And we'll have our scholar athlete and sports and courts. Brett Hastings will be in to talk, legal issues in the sports world. So that's always interesting. So it should be a fun Frangie Show coming up.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
Hayes. As we were walking in, and we saw Hayes walking out, and I was like, that's probably smart. It's probably not good to stay out in this weather. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
You know what I do not want to see, by the way? As pro days continue, Field Yates reported Alabama offensive tackle Caden Proctor had a lot of people buzzing here at pro day. I don't know if anybody's shocked about that, but it said his movement skills during the on-field drills were exceptional, and you could hear the sound of him hitting the bags the opposite side of the field. He's got a busy slate of visits, starting with the Chiefs coming up. And I'm like, don't let him go.
They already got Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
All right, you have tomorrow off.
I
You'll
do.
be back with us on Friday.
Happy opening day,
Go
everybody.
Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go, I guess.
And
right?
it all begins tonight. I had forgotten
Yes.
that the San Francisco Giants' new manager is the former Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, it's on Netflix tonight, and Jameis Winston is a part of it. So if you want to see, I feel like it's going to be a great time with Jameis involved in a broadcast in some form or fashion.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's
good.
hilarious.
Yeah, he's good on camera, too.
For sure.
Yeah,
All right, that'll do it
awesome.
for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.